Morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut here with Bobby Atkins, and we are the Veterans Edition of Real Estate Jerky. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, Robert.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Ed.
Bobby, Robert. I'm sorry. I'm still screwing that up
That's
this
all right,
week.
man.
Messed it up on the first part of the week. Just keep going. So what's new with you? What do you want to talk about?
Well, the other day we were talking about that VA loan that I accepted on my listing. And, we always talk about pest inspections, but maybe not everyone knows exactly what they're looking for in a pest inspection. So I thought we could talk about that.
Well, go ahead. Go for it. You're already talking about. Let's finish it up.
Yeah. So there's lots of pest inspectors wherever you're at. Obviously here in town, we have a few that we work exclusively with. And their main objective is to look for termites. And normally I like to have a pest inspection done before we even list, because the last thing you want is a surprise, day 15 of the transaction. So I just had an inspection done recently where they found every kind of termite you could ask for.
Oh, really?
Damp wood, dry wood, and
is that on this place or a different one?
Oh. No, this is on a different one. Yeah.
Wow. Every one, huh?
But that's a good thing to know, right? Because they're gonna have to tint the house. They're gonna have to abate. They're gonna have to do soil injections. It's a process, But they also look for dry rot. So
I assume that was it was not a foundation. Was it a post and pier? How old was the house?
Yeah, it's built in 1940.
Okay.
Yeah, raised foundation. Yeah.
Not to say they can't get that, but that's why you get all different types.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and in the garage is on a slab, and that's the one that has the subterranean. So.
Really?
Yeah.
So the house doesn't have the tubes and everything going up?
No.
Really? They must have sprayed underneath there, but didn't spray under the slab when they put that down.
Yeah. Well, and so the pest inspector was saying, like, hey, when we tint this, we're gonna have to treat that at the same time. Otherwise, we're just gonna run from one place to the next.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, because I know they spray a lot of that stuff. Like in the past, years and years ago, I've been talking to a lot of the pest companies, and they're like, we used to spray this chemical. You sprayed it once and you never had to worry about it. Nothing ever lived afterwards. Spiders never were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, what happens to you when you go underneath there, though? Or somebody goes for service,
Yeah, good call. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's just like when they used to, spray DDT on kids, right?
They used to spray Agent Orange on the freaking service members to show that it was good. They're not here today, by the way.
Yeah.
So back to the pest. I have one right now, Tuolumne County. You're almost guaranteed to have issues, right? What's nice though is it used to be years ago, veterans could not pay for the pest report, but they couldn't pay for any repairs. That changed 2 years ago to where all veterans can pay for any repairs at all under the pest.
Now, was there anything that prompted them to make that change?
Probably because their offers weren't getting accepted.
Yeah.
That's what I think it was.
And that's when the market was white hot, right?
Right. Yeah. And they weren't getting accepted because he had problems. And it's only in areas where we have termites, right? So it's southern states, up the coast, up to Washington and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you can always, if there is stuff that needs to be done and people can't deal with it right now, they want to handle it afterwards, you have to find a company that will do a short form VA pest report, which is there's no active pests, and it's not easy. There's probably 40% of the companies that will do it. Yeah. And so I always tell people, ask them before you have them come out to do the work.
Yeah.
And we just got one in a contract up there, and she's like, it's the same agent that I gave the person to last time that would do it up there. And I go, and she goes, I have so-and-so already. They're doing it. I said, okay, perfect. Just use them. I mean, because I understand people want to do the work, but you can always still do the work afterwards. It's just to get them into the house up front.
Correct. Yeah. Because that could hold back the transaction by a couple of weeks,
Well, yeah.
Depend on the schedule of the abatement company and stuff,
Yeah. And I always tell them the best time to buy Tuolumne County is when it snows, because you can't see the deck.
Yeah.
You can't see those problems that are potentially there, that potentially could be there. They're just, you don't see them. And that's the best. It's for FHA, VA, all that stuff, because there's issues, but it's all covered with snow and nobody cares at that point.
Yeah. Well, and obviously these repairs, especially like the estimates from the pest companies, can be pretty pricey. So if someone, is going to repair them, instead of doing the short form, a lot of times you can find a contractor that can do it for a better price, as long as, they're reputable. And then you just got to pay the reinspection fee. So sometimes that's a negotiation that I've done with sellers,
Right. And it just depends. This is one way of doing it when nobody else wants to do it. It just depends. I mean, as things pick up eventually over the next, 6 months to a year, VA will be pushed out because the fact of that potentially could be there. But you could tell them it's not a big deal. We can go ahead and just go forward this way. That's how these people got this other house. So, yeah.
Well, and it's like I know right away when I'm taking a listing, if it's going to have an issue with VA, like there's obviously a little more wiggle room with like FHA, but like this house we accepted the offer on, I'm like, I have no concerns. Like I have looked over this whole house up and down, I don't even see any dry rot on this place. So
typically what so they go off of what the appraiser sees and the underwriter sees. If you have a deck, this is FHA too. If you have a deck that has bare wood, they're going to call it.
Yeah.
If you have a piece of wood that on the outside, the window, the sliding glass door, the dog's been coming through, the kid's been coming through, and it's bare wood, just touch it up with primer before the appraiser comes out. Underneath the sliding glass door, there's always that missing paint, from years coming up there, unless it's stucco. But in most places, there's a little trim there that just touch up. I did it on my house when it went VA over there off of Keepsake. I went around. I was like, oh, let's touch that up. Let's touch that up. I don't want anything called, because that's another $150 for them to come back out and sign it off.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't care if it's conventional, VA, FHA, USDA. These are little things you should do. Touch up your house before you sell it, just to make it look nice for the next person. Yes, you don't have to, but it would be nice.
Yeah. And, plan ahead, don't, or try not to give us a call and say, hey, I need to put my house on the market in like 2 days, because it's with rare exception where I've seen a house that's ready just to go straight on the market, right. Even some of the nicest homes, just the way we live is not market ready.
No,
right.
Not at all.
Yeah. So everyone understands that. If you've sold a house once or twice, you understand, like, okay, everything has to disappear. We have to act like it's staged for, for like a model home.
Yeah. I mean, and for a while there, it didn't have to be staged at all.
What I can say, yeah, buyers have definitely gotten pickier.
Well, it's because things are sitting a little bit longer. So people, but it's still, we don't have that much inventory.
Yeah. I
read an article that said the good thing about 8% rates is there's more inventory.
Yeah, right. Obviously not somebody from the real estate industry.
Well, no, they're just saying because if you look at last week's numbers, we're up 8,000, where the week before we were up 5,600. We're still so far below what we would be normally nationwide at this time. It's, it's half. We're, more than half short.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's just kind of a twist on the availability or the affordability of it, right?
Well, the play was just to get you to read the article.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the play was. Yeah. I mean, because when you look at Case Shiller came out on Tuesday, and FHFA came out, and they both showed that housing was up in September and August. I'm sorry, August is up, and that's, year over year, we're going to be up about 6% nationwide. So, here in California, we're going to be up at least 10%. Even with LA down and San Francisco down, we're still going to be up.
Well, and like one of the areas where we've seen like the most development around here has been Riverbank, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so most all those houses were sold before they ever broke ground. Now I'm curious to see if the values go up or down because they're building a Costco right there, like right behind that development.
It's not going to affect it.
You don't think so?
Yeah, it's not a freeway.
Yeah,
because that's like Brig. If you're backed up to Briggsmore, then you lose 10 grand because of a busy street, right?
Yeah.
If you're on Orangeburg, same thing. You lose 5 to 10 grand. Roseburg, maybe 5 to 8 grand. It just that's the only time it's a busy street. It was always commercial going to be there. One of the few houses are going to be next to a commercial. That's just how that works, right? They build homes. You need a supermarket. Right, you build it close to the homes. Does that affect all the homes? No, it only affects the few homes that are butts up to the parking lot.
Yeah, back up. Yeah, share a wall with it.
Yeah, but on a new housing tract, they don't really care. You get the same. You don't get a big deal off. They're like, it's so here's your lot. This is what you get.
Yeah, can I cut a gate in here so I have quicker access to Costco, right?
Yeah, but do you really want to do that? You could, because a lot of people, I mean, if you look at the trail right here, off of Roseburg and that little shopping center, a lot of the houses back there have the gates that go to the alley who just go right through the store right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd never paid attention to that.
But we don't have an alley here. Thank God, because otherwise we wouldn't have a pool.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of interesting, man. Like some of the neighborhoods that are older don't have alleys.
Well, we did have one. We just took it back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they gave it back to us because of they didn't want to pick up trash in the back. They wanted to pick it up in the front.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. So there's no utilities back there, or they
still
have like an easement?
Yes, but they still have an easement, but it's in the neighbor behind me yard. So except for the actual sewer line, it goes directly behind my house, as I found out putting the pool in, and right at the fence is right on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, fun with that. Everybody told me it was in the front because we do have sewer lines in the front.
Just not yours.
No, yeah, because the people across the street, they have two lines. The neighbor behind them go through their yard along with theirs into the front.
Yes. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So, gosh, that causes a problem, doesn't it?
Could be. Yeah.
You're like, no, that's not my sewer line. That's yours.
Yeah. I mean, so that's just that's why I was like, okay, I guarantee you I'm in the last pool on this side of the street all the way down.
Yeah.
Because of where the sewer line is and everything they would have to do to move the sewer lines, because they put that line right in the middle of the house, so that's right where you want to put your pool. So,
not to get off subject.
We're really off subject.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say it's real estate related. Talking about sewer lines, a buddy of mine, he lives in a development that was built like in the late 80s, right? And there is a break in his sewer line in the street. And the city's trying to say that he has to pay for that.
Why?
The good question.
Well, the question is it a break on his side from the sewer to his house, or is it the actual? Yeah, that's probably what it is. It's probably his line from the house to the sewer line.
Yeah. But it's in the street, so it's like, well, I thought normally once you cross over the lip of the curb, that's
I don't know.
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Anyway,
real estate attorney.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding, man.
But speaking of sewer, it's a lot, because yesterday I was asked, VA, do they have to have a roof cert? No. Do they have to have a septic? No. The only thing they care about is a well, right? If there's a well, they want to make sure that it's running at a good amount and there's no issues. That's pretty much all. There's no sewer. No septic that you have to do. But you need to do a septic just for everybody in the transaction, but it's not required by VA. A lot of people think it is. And that's where the problem is, and please, it's going to come out. If we get rid of all the old real estate agents and just have the younger ones, they would all understand that there's no problem VA.
Yeah.
Because the difference is, over the last 20 years, VA was the worst loan to do on homes. And now in the last 2 years, it's one of the best loans to do on home. That's all I'm getting at. They don't understand it changed. They always revert back to how it used to be.
So have you ever done a seminar for the more senior agents?
No, but maybe we should.
Yeah, that's a good idea, man. Yeah. Maybe
because there was some people in town doing VA that, running around. We're the VA experts. And it's like, okay, go ahead. Tell everybody that because you went to a class.
You know what? I got the perfect place for you, man. The Wednesday CVAR meeting.
Yeah.
That'd be the perfect.
The problem is half the people there are affiliates. Or actually 3/4 of people there are affiliates.
Yeah, well, yeah. I would say
that's
sometimes it's like half agents.
What in this market? No way. No, the problem, that was one of the reasons I stopped going there, is because the fact of it was 90% was affiliates and 10% were agents.
Gotcha.
And it was like, okay, this is supposed to be for you guys, and you're not even coming to your own meeting.
It's big now, man. We probably have 100 people each week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I do radio that morning.
Okay.
That's why Mike and I, so unless they moved it to a different time.
Yeah, that's going to interfere.
Yeah, it interferes with our radio recording. That's why we don't go. So when the Wednesdays we don't record because of something, we have to do something differently, Mike shows up there. That's how you know if we're recording or not.
Gotcha. I'm going to say, we know when Mike shows up. Yeah. He's the loudest one there.
Always. Just like Rotary.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So VA, no issues with septic, no issues with, you don't need a roof cert, but these things you need to look at and do for yourself anyway. But for us to do it, because we've had it where there was issues with the septic, right? Or a leach field and needed some repair. We don't care if you work something out with everybody, as long as it's on the seller side of the CD.
Gotcha.
You follow me? If they pay that repairs to be done, but it's not done right away, we don't care.
For sure.
Because we know it'll get done. You can always go to the bathroom outside too.
Well, I was going to say, I've only done a handful of transactions that had septic, but all of them have had some kind of issue.
They all do. It's just like flat roofs.
Yeah.
They all have issues at one point or another. There's nothing about it. It's always going to have it. You just haven't run into it because you don't do a lot in the county or up in the Tuolumne or Calaveras. That's because everything's on a septic up there unless it's in the city.
Yeah. Like I say, I can think of like 3 off the top of my head when they all had some kind of repairs.
Yeah. Well, the worst part is some of the older in Modesto, like in my, further down and stuff, who used to have septics and they connected to the sewer line, but guess what? They didn't take out
the septic.
Yeah. And people have fallen through almost into them because you're supposed to break that thing up so you don't fall into it.
Yeah. Believe it or not, man, the old septic tank is still under my house. So when it used to be a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and they added the master bedroom on, they just built right over the top of it.
Damn.
So I go under the house and there's a concrete tank in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully it never breaks, falls apart. Now you have a basement bedroom.
Yeah.
All right. So big thing about VA is it's a great program. I will look at doing some webinars or something on that just so agents understand the differences. It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's just as good as conventional, just as good. There's no issues these days.
Yeah.
All right.
Getting the word out, man.
Yeah. I mean, because the difference is they don't have to worry about money. They have money for, some of them, even though we get their closing costs covered for them, doesn't mean they don't have that money. We just don't want them to spend it if they don't have to. And in this market where you can get closing costs in some places, why have them use their money, keep their money so they can work on their house.
Yeah.
Because my son, when he bought his house, he got his EMD back.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So if you do it right and you have enough closing costs, they don't even have to have their EMD. They can get that back at the end. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah. Help the vets. All right.
Hoorah.
Yeah. All right. Make it a great day. I'm Ed Parcaut. This is Bobby Atkins. Bobby, what's the best way to reach you?
Phone number is 20.
You say that a lot.
Yeah. 209-550-1087.
All right.
Text or call.
Yeah. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching, and we're here for you. So if you need anything, reach out to us. I'm Ed Parcaut everywhere, and nice to be here. Thanks, Bobby.